biggest thing, the reason why I'm a skier, and that's where I got into it. I owe so much to the Sheffield Ski Village. I owe my life to it, really. I mean, it was just sort of happenstance. It was chance that I went there. I used to go to the skate park down the road, and honestly, I think that my mum found a free ski and a free snowboard lesson in the paper, and one summer I just took them, and that was it. You know, I sort of followed the guys from the skate park that would go up to the ski and the snowboard slope, and that was it, man. Once I saw all these sort of free-spirited people, you know, I fell in love. I think it was the most pivotal decision of my life, retrospectively, you know, like looking back on it. At the time, all I ever wanted to do was get out of Sheffield. I wanted to get out and see the world and be part of something, you know, bigger, you know. I really craved that, and I thought that I had it in me, you know. And then skiing very quickly became what I saw, you know, could be that path, you know. And then once I just understood everything to do with this free sports, action sports, free ski world, I fell in love, you know, with the people, the sport, pushing myself, going fast, doing big jumps. It was just the whole package for me, and I had to get away and I had to do it. I had done a couple of like bus trips out to the Alps previously, and seeing the mountains was phenomenal. You know, it was like nothing I could have ever imagined. You know, I would be the little grummy in school, and I was drawing, you know, pictures of the mountains and pictures of skiers and doing all these little scribbles and stuff. But, you know, you grow up in the middle of England, in the city, sick. Nothing can prepare you for seeing these mountains, like in real life. I can remember, you know, I've got the goosebumps now, not just because it's a little bit cold, because, you know, like, because it was actually phenomenal. It's just like nothing else. That was my first challenge. Not my first challenge, my first real challenge as a skier, not a professional skier at this point, you know, as a kid trying to get his break. The biggest challenge was being British, being a kid no one had heard about, and trying to get starts in competitions. Nobody would back you, you know what I mean? I mean, why would they? They've got a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid from Switzerland that they've kind of heard of and they've seen ski around. They've got a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid from the UK that they've never heard about. So who would you pick? You know what I mean? You definitely wouldn't pick the British kid. So that was difficult. Nowadays, it's definitely different. You got national teams, you got this equal opportunity. And to be honest, I'm very glad that I went through those hardships, you know, because when I got those starts, when I'd finally got into those competitions, it was do or die, literally. That's this, I'm gonna make money or I'm not gonna be able to do this. I always dreamed of going to X Games, man. I mean, it's the pinnacle of what we do, you know, the action sports, and it's the top of the pyramid, it's the top of the mountain, it's where everybody wants to be, and I always dreamt and believed I was gonna go to X Games. You know, I was gonna go to X Games, I was gonna compete there, and my dream was to have the opportunity to drop in at X Games. Obviously, I dreamt of winning X Games, but I was too scared to dream of winning X Games because it's just too much. The stars have to align. Absolutely, you know, it's more than just being the best. It's so much luck. You know, just to win any competition is just so much has to align. Everybody is so good. You can't engineer winning. You have to be lucky. And I mean, to go from being too scared to actually dream about it and say it out loud to actually having that gold medal around my neck is mind-blowing. And absolutely, man, absolutely. I think that I've matured in a lot of ways, actually. I mean, you might not believe it, but I think I've matured in a lot of ways, and one of them is with my goals and ambitions. I know that I now know and accept that I'm a very competitive person, you know, whereas previously all the negative connotations of you know, being in a free sport and being a competitive person, you know, I wasn't willing to accept that, you know. But now I know I'm a competitive person. I love doing competitions. I love pushing myself to the highest limit. And of course, I love winning, you know. I have a taste of that. It's wonderful. I mean, it's not the be-all and end-all. It's not why I do it, but I'm not afraid to say that it's my goal is to win X Games again and to win the Olympics, the next one round. I love doing big air because there's way less pressure, because you're just focusing on one thing. Yeah, usually it's way gnarlier, but you can focus your mind into one trick at a time. Slopestyle is scary. There's so much pressure, there's so much nerves, there's so much that goes into it, concentration. So it is way more freaky. You know, you've got to be so perfect, but because of those things, it is the most legit. Like, slopestyle is the business. And big air is like, boom, let's go. This is a very funny question because traveling has been my life since I was 15 years old. I've always been traveling. I never stop. You know, I left home in Sheffield when I was 15, and it took me about 6 months to realize that calling it home made me miss it more. So taking that word away, you know, I'm at home every time I check into a hotel, which is like every single week. You know, I travel to a different place every single week. It's the dream life, but it does take its toll, you know, and it's got its advantages and disadvantages, but I love it. It's the life I love, and one day it won't be the same, you know. One day I'll have to maybe stay in one place. So as far as traveling goes, it's just what I do. I'm always living out of my bag, and I love it because I'm trying to optimize this whole life, you know. It's too good, and it could end at any time, so rock and roll. Yeah, the YouTube series is pretty exciting, actually. Obviously, the way that the world what's the word I'm looking for? Obviously, the way that the world now consumes its content is social media. You know, it's daily almost. It's what happened right now, you know. It's that Instagram model of right here, right now. I mean, Kate, I loved the days where everyone would put all of their effort into the movie, and that movie would come out in October at exactly the same time. Everyone would drop their movie parts, and the movie premieres would be huge, and that's where you would see that. And the big competition, maybe X Games, is where you would annually see you know, the best of the best doing their business. But now it's just not like that. And like it or lump it, that's the way it is. I love being a professional skier. I want to be a professional skier. I'm still desperate to live this life. So, you know, I want to keep up. I thought, all right, I got a rad life. People seem to enjoy what I'm up to, and I enjoy being in front of the camera. So let's make a YouTube series. I think it plays a really important part in the success of athletes, social media and that, and of everybody, really. I mean, we've always sort of been billboards, you know, like anybody of influence. And now being an influencer is a term, which is weird, but I mean, you put yourself in the position where you can help somebody else and that helps you, great. I am unsure how I feel about it being an athlete's responsibility for their social media. It currently is. I don't know. I think we're in a bit of a transition period. Nobody really knows the value of the social media and how much that compares to the movies, sort of the old style. But we're in this sort of transition period right now where it will be figured out and we're getting there. I think that it's always your own responsibility to deal with your own business, you know what I mean? I mean, you can always employ people to do that stuff for you, but at the end of the day, that's your responsibility, so maybe. Preparing to hit big jumps and doing those big tricks for the first time or in competition, practice is what has got me there. Now that I've had those experiences and now that I can look back retrospectively and see what do I do, you know, I can break it down as a formula far more, you know, whereas previously you just have to be scared. You have to put yourselves in those positions and overcome them. You know, and you learn a lot about yourself by being scared and being fearful of things. And now I feel like I've got a really cool relationship with fear and in whatever form, you know. Like, I always think it's a really good time to concentrate whenever I get scared, and therefore I concentrate on what I'm doing, and I'm not scared anymore because I'm either focused on whether I'm going to do it, whether I'm not going to do it, and the things that go into it. So. Oh yeah, definitely the sport's growing. There's more eyes on free skiing than has ever been before. Obviously, we can thank the big events for that. We can thank the Olympics for that. I mean, it's changing, it's ever changing, it's evolving, but I feel like the progression and the way that the sport is moving was always gonna happen. You know, if there's money involved, people are gonna start hucking their meat, you know? And there always has been money involved, you know, and I don't put it solely down to the Olympics at all. I think a lot of people do, and there's a bit of negative thoughts in that. I don't think so. I think that kids were always gonna see what we're up to. I was always gonna see what the guys before me were up to, and we're always gonna wanna outdo our predecessor, regardless of anything else. And this is a great feeling, and there's a lot of great people doing it, so, you know, there's no reason why progression isn't gonna go through the roof continuously. My main things outside of skiing is surfing. I love surfing. I think it's the hardest thing in the whole entire world. It's the most incredible feeling, and you know, you're constantly learning. You're never good at surfing. So any opportunity I can do to go and get some waves is I take that, and probably skydiving is my next most favorite thing. I love it. It's such an incredible feeling, and I've been working my way up, getting the next licenses with skydiving. So, you know, I'm getting there and becoming more confident, but trying not to be too confident and all that, so.